Yes.
Okay, hi. I'm Alice Wagner, special ed teacher at Pomona Middle School. I teach 8th grade, and I'll go through this a little bit later. I'm just going to talk about how I plan for the students' needs. And this year I ended up with some very low readers, and 2 of them are non-readers. Our school is a hybrid. We have remote in-person. We have 3 cohorts, A, B, and C. But in the special ed classrooms, all the students are welcome to come in. However, out of the 7 students that I have, only 1, sometimes 2 students come in. So my goal is to keep the attendance rate up. We have a very low attendance rate in our district. So how do I keep that up at 79 to 90% is where I am right now. And I had to look at my students. So first thing I did was I looked at their reading levels. Where do they stand? An 8th grade reader is below basic is 0 to 599. And then a basic reader is 600 to 899. My students are in the 2nd grade reading level. If not, 2 of them are non-readers, so they fall in the below basic 2nd graders. And then I have a few, 4 of them who are 250 to 499 reading on the 3rd grade level. So I was challenged. So I had to figure out, how am I going to give them the textbook and the information and tests in order for them to read it and understand it and grasp the concepts. So again, like I said, I have period 1, their reading lexile level is 250 to 375. Same group of students, period 2, I saw is a little bit higher, 375 to 650. And period 6, 375 to 850. Their reading skills are usually much better. So most of the students that I have in my 12-to-1 class are ENL learners. So I have an ENL teacher with me, and I also have a teacher assistant with me as well. So they need to, their English language acquisition is very challenging. And what do I have to do to find instructional strategies to help those students? I usually use this standard. I want to focus on textual evidence of science or social studies, depending on what I'm doing, by using text, charts, graphs, and diagrams. And this is the science standard. And I do a lot of that because I want them to read and write. I need them to be able to do that. So what tools do I use? I use the Read to Write, which is free. You can download that on Chrome. Kami is free for 60 days, but then I ended up using that a lot, so I paid $99. I use Kid Britannica. I paid $75 for that. That was all year, and I use that for vocabulary. Before every unit, we do vocabulary, we do images, and this provides that with us. I also use screencasts, is where you can read the assignment for the students, and then it's a visual, they can watch you read. And then speech to text. The 2 non-readers also cannot write, so they can say what they want to write, and they can complete an assignment using speech to text. You can get all those on Chrome. So one of the strategies that I use that I want the children to really, really focus on is read, stop, and think. I teach them from the very beginning, what is the question asking? When they read a passage, what is the title telling us? Let's look back at the test, ask a question. In this particular special ed setting that we have, they will not ask questions, especially if they're at home or they can't see the other students. I do find that we have less behavior problems with online learning. That has been a really kind of for me, a nice treat, because they're with their families, and they're just more focused on learning and paying attention. So back to what Read, Stop, and Think is. It's an active reading strategy. read small chunks and then stop and ask a question, think about what you've just read, go back to the text and look back to see what we read and how it connects to the question being asked. And I use Seneca Learning as a whole group. I feel that Seneca Learning is exactly what we do here. There's 3 slides, and then we read those 3 slides. There's a question, but we can go back to, let's go back to slide 1. Let's go back to slide 2. Where is the information that we need? So I find Seneca Learning to be very helpful too. However, the reading level is way too high for my students, so that's why we do it as a whole group activity. I read it, or we use the read to text tool, and then they answer the question. So real quick, when I'm teaching, I try to mix it up a little bit. So I use Google textbooks, and then I reinforce the learning with Seneca Learning, Edpuzzle, Mayan, Kahoots, NerdPot, and Bill the Science Guy. How am I doing on time?
I think that's time now.
Okay, so I'll be done there. So, but that's how I use. I just wanted to really show real quick the Seneca Learning. Okay, so there just has 3 slides, and then it gives you questions.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done.
That's brilliant. No, thank you so much. If you have more to share, you can share it to me, and then I'll send it to people. So just so we can keep the schedule. But that was great, really great. Lots of good tools to use.